Today I want to share the behind the scenes story of one of the biggest transitions that I made in my sponsorship coaching business, which was consolidating my tech stack that I use to host my courses, my community, and my group coaching program. I ended up ditching both Thinkific and a private Facebook group in favor of Circle. So if you're a creator who has an online community or a membership or is thinking about starting one, I'm going to talk about why this move was so important, the fears that I had, how I communicated and executed the migration. Actually, you know what? Let me just play a quick excerpt. Hey everyone, it's Justin. I am here with a really exciting update. I am shutting down the Thinkific course portal and the free brand deal intel Facebook group, and I'm migrating everything over to Circle. Side note, please don't make fun of my neon office lights. I thought they were cool at the time. This video is sponsored by Circle, the platform that I now use that has transformed how I run my business. So first, let's talk about what my group was all about, why I created it. So I have a YouTube channel called Creator Wizard, where I teach people about how to negotiate and how to, how much to charge for a brand deal and like how to behave on a phone call with a brand and things like that. And from the early days, it was pretty clear that there was a lot of interest around this topic in the comment sections below the videos. I would get DMs or emails from people about it. And it was super clear that people were clamoring for a place to congregate and like talk about this thing. So I was like, okay, maybe I should make a private Facebook group and we all can kind of hang out and talk about deals and pricing and things like that. At the time, I really didn't have a way to pay me. I didn't have a course yet. I didn't have one-on-one coaching. I didn't have any of those things. And so it just seemed like a good idea. Let's get these people off of YouTube into a place where I can engage with them further. And so in the early days, I thought, well, first of all, I thought it was going to be really easy. I thought I would just like talk about it in a YouTube video and people would just like, hundreds of people would just like flood over there. But again, I was not getting, tens of thousands of views on my YouTube video. I was getting like hundreds, maybe thousands. And so the times that I did talk about it, a few people trickled in here and there, but it wasn't like overnight success, right? And so in the early days, like I was like one-on-one messaging people about the group. I was in some other private Facebook groups and like maybe if I was engaging with them, I would like DM them and be like, hey, I actually have a private Facebook group where we're talking about sponsorship and opportunities and things like that. Want to join? And so it was like one-on-one hand-to-hand combat in the very early days to try to grow this group. And so very quickly, I learned that having a private Facebook group is not ideal for a lot of reasons. Well, first of all, why did I even like start it on Facebook? I think it's what a lot of people think. It's like, well, everyone's on Facebook, right? Like they're already there. So like people really hate creating new accounts for things. So why am I going to make their life like more difficult? They could just use their Facebook login to access my group. What I started to see happen is very quickly, actually, that it was very hard to organize things. There was not a lot of great engagement on the posts that I would make in there, mainly for the reason that like my content was mixed in between like people's pictures of their dogs from their friends that they're following or their crazy, posts from their aunt about politics or whatever. And also I just started seeing our reach decrease and decrease and decrease up to the, when I ultimately built up the group to over 500 creators. Yeah, in theory, you would hope that you could access all 500 people that have said, oh yeah, I want to join this group. But like we would make a post in there and it would get like a reach of like 5 or a reach of like 10. And so I was like, man, what am I even doing here? Like I'm spending all this effort, putting opportunities in here. I had a community manager who was trying to engage with people in there. And it just felt like we were spinning our wheels, right? And there's gotta be a better way. That was really what we thought. Also, I had my courses hosted on Thinkific. And to be honest, my biggest frustration there was it was really difficult for my students to navigate it. And we were just inundated with customer service inquiries about how to access everything. So I ultimately decided, all right, something has to change here. And so the reason I decided to move to Circle is, well, first of all, it was because one of my good friends, Jay Klaus, had his community called The Lab on Circle. And so I saw what it could be like. I was like, man, what is this platform? Like it's super organized. You can have different, like a space group and then like subspaces under there. So it's like super good for organizing stuff. Wow, there's a calendar of events, like all of these things that I realized like I need this for my own business, for my own community. And so I started kicking the tires on Circle. It was like very clear that their feature set was because like this is what it's for, was just so much deeper than a private Facebook group, which was in theory, oh, it's free. That's great, right? But I had a lot of fears associated with making this transition. And so I wanted to kind of share some of those that maybe you're going through watching this as well. So the first fear was like that all that effort and work that I had done to get people into this group was going to be for nothing because look, first of all, I did not control or I didn't have access to the email addresses of all those people who were in that group. So it's not like I could send an email out to all these people and be like, come on, like migrate over to this new thing, right? Remember, I was only getting a reach of like 10 or 15 when I would make these posts. So like like I had this big fear that like all these hundreds of people who have like said that they wanted to like be in this group, I'm never going to be able to reach them because there's no way for me to contact them short of like reaching out to them individually one by one. And again, I just had this fear that like of the 500, plus people, I would only get like 5 people or 10 people to migrate over. Really at the end of the day, one of my old business mentors said something to me though, which ultimately made me realize that I can't do this, which was like, you cannot make decisions in life and business from a place of fear. And that's exactly what I was doing, is I was just fearing that the outcome would be bad, right? And it's like, okay, what is the abundant, the optimistic interpretation of this migration look like? I'm able to communicate properly with these people. A bunch of people come over, right? And so I just started going down this pathway and I was like, all right, whatever happens, happens, but I'm going to do whatever I can to properly communicate this to increase my chances of success. So what I ultimately did was I made several posts over the span of about a month, kind of explaining what was happening, like why I was making this transition, what were the changes were being made. I ultimately decided to actually personally message specific members who were, particularly engaged in the community, because I knew that I wanted them there. I was like, these people are always commenting on the post. They're going to have a great, if they are the early members in there, when new people join and they see how engaged it is, this is going to be a good thing, right? And so I did decide to like personally reach out and invite certain people. I did in that video the excerpt that I shared, I actually did a screen share talking about and showing what the new community looked like, how to use it, how to create an account and all that. So what ultimately happened was that the transition was a lot smoother than expected. There was some drop off. Like I'm going to be totally honest here. Like it's not like I had 100% migration success rate, right? I think of the 500 plus members that I had in the private Facebook group, I think I got about half to come over to the new Circle community, which I was actually really excited about because those people represented the most engaged members in the other community anyway, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm like filling up this new community with the most engaged people. Like this is awesome, right? So we had increased engagement on a lot of the posts. There was just like higher quality discussions happening in the forum area. And just overall, it was a better member experience. No one wants to walk into imagine this would be like in a real life scenario. You walk into like a club or a group or something and like there's only 3 people there and it's like super awkward and you're all kind of hovering around the wall and no one wants to talk to each other. And it's just this really awkward thing. And then what happens in that scenario? You probably leave and never return. And so that very first interaction that people have with your community, with your membership or whatever is so critical. And so I was just thrilled that it was a better member experience for people to come in and see that there was already all these awesome conversations happening. And so now that I'm on the other side of that, I wanted to talk about my outlook for the future, where my community is at now. So we're actually up over 2,300 members at this point. I actually now host all of my courses on Circle as well, which I absolutely love because everyone in my community knows about my offers. So I have a free area, kind of like a free access area of the community that's kind of like post only, right? So it's more of like a broadcast space group, but then there's other areas. So when you join my courses or my group coaching program, for example, that's where the forum is now. But again, if you are one of those people in the free area, you can see all the different, if you do decide that you want to, get more detailed support from me or my team, it's very clear, how to ascend up the kind of offer ladder, so to speak, because everything is laid out in Circle. Previously, they were in all these disparate places, right? And go to this sales page over here on Thinkific and go over here, on this sales page over here and join my newsletter. And it was just really confusing. And so now everything is in Circle. It's very clear. If you click on if you do choose to join coaching or something, you click on that, it'll be gated. And it's okay, hey, if you want to join this, here's a way to do it. Here's a sales page. You can read more about it, etc. So if you're about to do your own migration and you have some questions or concerns or fears, drop it in the comments below. And again, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, Circle. If you want to check them out, make sure to click the link in the description box. And this video is actually the first in a series that I'm doing where I'm taking you behind the scenes of building my sponsorship coaching business. So I'll see you next time.